Well, good morning, everyone. We're on the last Monday of October. I'm Leslie Flowers, and I'm very happy to be here with you. This is Mind Over Matter Mondays. And as you come in, let us know where you're calling from. I see you're filling up the room, and I'll sing you in so that you can get your coffee and your notepad. And here we go. One of my favorite songs. Why are there so many songs about rainbows? And what's on the other side? Rainbows are visions, but only illusions. And rainbows have nothing to hide. So we've been told, and I choose to believe it. I know they're wrong. Wait and see. Someday we'll find it. The rainbow connection. The lovers, the dreamers, and me. Hi, everybody. Who said that every wish would be heard and answered when wished on a morning star? Somebody thought of that and someone believed it. Look what it's done so far. What's so amazing that keeps me stargazing? And what do we think we might see? Someday we'll find it, the rainbow connection, the lovers, the dreamers, and me. We know it's probably magic. Have you been half asleep? And have you heard voices? I've heard them calling my name. Is this the sweet sound that calls the young sailors? The voice might be one and the same. I've heard it too many times to ignore it. It's something that I'm supposed to be. Someday we'll find it, the rainbow connection, the lovers, the dreamers, and me. Da-dee-da-da, ba-da-da-da-da-da-dee-da-dee. All right, everybody is in. One of my favorite songs, actually selected for me by the soul man himself. If you don't know him, Aaron Gibson. And he has a soul man show every Friday night. And as a guest, a couple of years ago, for my mental health montage, this was the song he chose for me. So I hope my mouth and the voice are syncing properly. I did get that new part that seemed to interrupt the flow, and you let me know if it's synced properly. And so let's say hello to everybody. It's Monday, the 27th of October, and I'm so excited to have Sean Michael here. He was here last week, and so let me bring him up on stage. So
Good morning, everyone, and Leslie and everyone.
Good morning, Sean and everyone. So glad you're here. So you'll recognize some people, and there's some new people. So I'm going to introduce you to them, and I want you to know who they are for me, and I want you all to know every week who you are for me and for all of us. Because I've realized that sometimes we're not seen, right, Sean? Sometimes people don't see us. And most times when they're looking, they'll see us better than we see ourselves. And
Well,
that
and
has to,
I would say a lot of it sometimes it's not that we're not seen, it's that we don't feel seen. So by you intentionally bringing it up, it's very easy for people to feel seen.
good, good. I like that. And this is how you show up for me. So whenever I see you in LinkedIn, in one of these rooms, or in a room we are together, I always see you as the great person that I've come to know. I'm not looking for anything negative. I'm only looking for your greatness, because what I have learned, Sean, is that the more times I look and find greatness in you, the more my greatness grows, because we are a reflection of one another. So we're really exercising the muscle of greatness. And I have to have it to see it in you. And the more times I see it in you, my own grows. And that's what I've learned. Is there scientific evidence? I don't know.
Yes.
Is there? There
There
is. Okay,
There
yay.
is. I'm
I know there's a.
I'm
Go ahead.
actually talking about this exact principle today on Mindshift.
Oh my God. And we did not plan
About
this.
how that others and like our judgments of them are really just mirrors of
That's right.
our inner world.
Beautiful. Oh, I'm so excited. And we didn't plan this, y'all. We did not talk about this part of it, but we're all doing something very similar. The purpose of Mind Over Matter Mondays, for those of you who are new, or you may not have known this, but what I've come to discover, and I've discussed with all the guest teachers that come on, is that we're all basically re-articulating from our own perspective similar concepts. And it's all about, for me, agile thinking. Now, what is that? Well, we're not thinking at all when we're triggered and reacting. And honestly, statistics say that most of us spend about 95% of our lives. That seems like a lot. But anyway, in the trigger mode, which is not thinking, it's reactive and a very low vibration. So it doesn't feel good. Now, in that area, that trigger area, are your 6 basic fears. Real experiences with fear that you relive and remind yourself of repeatedly through the decades. So the reality is, when you get an idea to do something you've never done before or failed at before, the voice of fear will beat out your higher side. It will beat out your desire in most instances. So we give up. And that's why only 2 or 3 people out of 100 ever achieve wealth, health, and happiness with any consistency. So what we're doing here is bringing in guest teachers who are going to re-articulate what we've been talking about for a couple of years here, but from their unique perspective. But the common denominator is the same. It's for you to be able to override when you can, when you catch the trigger, to stop it and pause. Something else we're going to talk about today. And then choose not only just one point of view that you could use anywhere that overrides the fear, because only one will live in the moment, but actually to be good enough at it to choose which perspective you're going to use for which context. So, for example, you might be speaking on a stage and you're really nervous and you're really afraid. So you're very focused on yourself. You're not in a heart-centered place. So you decide that you remind yourself, or someone clears you. Remember who you are for people. You're here to land with service. This is about your audience, not you. But what if you have an audience of plumbers, or an audience of doctors, or an audience of administrative assistants, but it's only one concept? Well, agile thinking actually, through practice, allows you to select on the fly the right information for the proper context. And so that's where I want us to be able to go, is not only to recognize the trigger or the fear, because when we reframe it or we remind ourselves really of the higher side and experience positive experiences we've had, it goes a long way to outweighing that fear. But it doesn't happen just once, because that fear has been repeated over and over and over again for decades. So, but the first step is to do the thing that you don't know how to do or that you fear doing. And then once you've completed it, which really takes courage, okay, and you really have to want to do this, now you've disproven that fear once at least. Hey, that was me, but look here, I have now empirical evidence I've actually done this thing. So let's say hello to everybody. I apologize for going on and on. We got a tight schedule today. Lots of exciting things happen. So first, allow me to introduce you to Lay Scheidel. I think she was here last week. Lay is a wonderful friend. I've known her for probably 10 years now. She has created with her partner Integrate Art, which is a unique program for teachers and students in public schools and private schools to integrate the concepts of art with every subject. So just imagine what that would be like, because we know that the more kinds of input we get, visual, graphic, music, etc., the easier it is to embed and fall in love with and absorb that. But what she does also is she is a drone operator and a marketing visioneer, product guru. She has spent years creating the most amazing images for people's products. So I just invite you to get to know Lay if you haven't, and to check out her profile and connect with her, or at least follow, because everybody that's here, and she's out in California, everybody that's here has been here before in most instances, and we all think similarly, right? So these would be people you're aligned with. And it's interesting because you know what, Sean? The people in this group, most of them come to the Friday group too. So really on Monday and Friday is Think and Grow Rich and Set Your Goal, and Monday is Mind Over Matter. So if you want, you can come Monday and get all inspired about thinking, and then on Friday you can come in and get inspired again, but learning to apply the principles of success and universal law in achieving your goal. So thank you for being here, dear friend Lay. And we also have Dr. Marcia. Hi, Dr. Marcia. She has a new book out. And on Tuesday mornings at 8 a.m. each week, she has a live Leading with Light. And sometimes I'm a guest, but I'm usually always there because her subject is so amazing. She's an executive leadership coach. She focuses on supporting people with Christianity, but also everybody. So she comes from a source of Christianity, but she is wide open, as the New Testament explains, to all points of view. I love that about her. There aren't a lot of people like Dr. Marcia, right? They're very attached to their point of view, but in this group, we're not so attached. Okay. Now, we are objective and observing as much as possible. Now, Lay is over on YouTube. So you can, if you're not having an easy time watching this on LinkedIn, copy this link from the comments and you can head over there. Thank you, Lay, for doing that. And good morning. This is Susan Walsh. Hello, Susan. I don't understand why the pictures aren't coming through, but they'll see you, I believe, next Monday on Mind Over Matter Monday. Susan Walsh has been a friend for, God, well over a decade. She and I got our international speaker breakthrough on a cruise together right after COVID. I think it was right after COVID, or yeah, it was somewhere in between there a few years ago. And we've been friends for years, and we study the similar things, but we say it differently. She talks about the dark night of the soul, and I hope that she will talk about those things. She has a different viewpoint on the same things, you know. So don't avoid being resistant to what you're hearing. If it's confusing, just move on and to the next thing. But if you find yourself thinking, I don't agree with that, right? That doesn't make sense to me. If you're confused, just wait until you hear it again or from someone else, and it'll get clear. But if you're really triggered, I just say, let it go. You weren't ready to understand it right now, and that's okay. There's a lot. You know, awareness is growing all the time. When you came into this room, you had a certain level of conscious awareness of your infinite potential. When you leave, you'll have a higher level. So we mustn't be attached to things that we already know and be wide open for new things. So hi, Susan. Thanks for being here. And here is Shoadul. He is usually the first person who RSVPs and had a nice message from you this morning, Shoadul. Thank you for reaching out. Thank you. And here's Sean Michael. We don't know who he is. There you are. Yeah, this is so exciting. And here's Adrian. Adrian, a wonderful supporter of many, many positive events. And last week she was featured as the Mind Over Matter support person, right? And we'll have a new one this week. These are people that stand for the greatness of others with consistency. And they have unique ways of doing it. And look who is here. This is Catherine Chadwick, who has been here twice, and she is wonderful, talks about the vagus nerve and the mind-body connection. She's a registered nurse. She's also a pretty famous actress in a lot of different realms. It's kind of fun. And just came back from a fabulous workshop. So I'm excited to hear that and hope you'll be on very soon, Catherine. Thank you for being here. She lives in New England. Yes. Susan is in Chapel Hill, which is about 30 minutes from me. I'm just south of Raleigh. And well, thank you. This is thank you. You love the sweater. This is a tie-dye scarf too, a silk tie-dye. So I bought it from someone that was one of my clients, and she sold and made these beautiful things. Oh, look who's here. Thank you, Adrian. And Sharon Rose is here. She's known as #RosieSpeaks on LinkedIn. And she's all about gratitude. Thanks for being here. And what was it, Friday? The event was not accurate in time-wise, and she's the one who reached out to me and said, Leslie, something's off with this. And this is what we do for each other. If I see you've got an event and you've misspelled something, I'm going to message you, right? Because I know you wouldn't intentionally do that. And I try to catch it the minute I see it. So, you know, and then you take it or you leave it. It's up to you. But we can help each other that way because we never are perfect. Oh gosh, I'm the worst at not being perfect. Oh, Coors Gold, Central California. Are you near? Oh my God, there's a university halfway down the coast. Oh, I can't think of what it is, but it's out in the boonies, about halfway between San Francisco and LA. If I think of it, I'll write it here. But it's a mountain town. That sounds fantastic. Oh, this was one of your favorite songs. Fantastic. Yeah, I love this. All right, let's see who else. And we have here, and we'll get ready to go. People will be coming in a little bit later. This is Tracy. Please get to know Tracy because Tracy is very versatile. She is in audio. She does all sorts of interesting business lives on LinkedIn. Very different viewpoint and a big supporter of mine. And actually at 6 a.m. my time, I think 5 or 4 a.m. her time, maybe 5. On Wednesdays, we meet on Zoom with from people around the world to have a 30-minute conversation. So she's my buddy on Wednesday mornings. Okay, So here we are. It is now 10:23 and we're in good shape here. So let us move into what we're doing today. And we will be finished at 11. And of course, this is Sean with his big smile. He's in Venezuela, excuse me, Guatemala. Sorry. I just heard something about Venezuela, but I know it's Guatemala. Okay, I promise I know. All right. So the first thing we want to do is to look at this week's honoree. Each week I pick someone who has been there, who has exemplary qualities, who shows up. And this week I've selected Leigh Scheidel because of her versatile expertise, videos through drones, but also working with children and her partner, integrating art to help children learn better and teachers to teach with extra help in terms of art. And I've known Leigh for a number of years, and we had a disagreement about 10 years ago. And isn't it funny how sometimes the very people that you disagree with are a lot like you? Somehow over the years, that melted away, and I was able to see the beauty in this woman, and it was reciprocated. And now we have this brand new relationship. So I totally believe that there is no never, and that perhaps when we have disagreements, there's something we have to work through to appreciate one another. So everyone, let's congratulate Leigh Scheidel for being our creative leader of the week for Mind Over Matter Mondays. So thank you, Leigh, for all you do. And let's take a look. Okay, good. Course Gold looks to be halfway, but there's a university. I dated a guy from there, and why I get University of California in San Luis Obispo. That's it. Are you near San Luis Obispo? It's out in the middle of nowhere. Okay. Thank you, Sean. And we have here Nicole Angay Galindo. She is the owner and publisher of Guided Brilliant Writers Publishing House. And you're wearing a mauve scarf with butterflies. Okay, yes, she just gave it away. I'm helping Nick with her publishing company doing line editing for her books. We just did one for Dr. Steve, which was 400 pages, and I line edited more than once. So it was quite a job. Right? But it's been a lot of fun. And Nicole is all about making sure that your story is good enough and is needed and wanted. There are people waiting for your story. And her latest book is We Choose to Be More Than Our Diagnoses. And it's an anthology of contributors who have some sort of diagnosis, and how they've used it and changed it into a strength instead of allowing the label of the world to call it something else. Okay. And I want to say hello to Kimberly. Hello, Kimberly. Yes, she's a wonderful. You'll get to know her. Oh, is Big Brother Aaron here? I haven't seen him yet. Okay. Okay. Well, might have woken him up with an early text or something. So Big Brother Aaron is in Calgary, which is a couple of hours earlier. Anne Elizabeth is here. Hi, Elizabeth. Falloon, I'm so happy to see you. She lives in Florida, and she used to work in private as a private flight attendant for private plane owners. I don't know how to say that. Not for a commercial airline, but for private airlines. But now what she does is helps people, women in particular, live beautifully on the outside that matches her inside. So Elizabeth is as beautiful on the inside, and it's reflected in the outside. That's authenticity. Right. So thanks for being here, Elizabeth. And here's Mark Dumar. He's calling in from India. Hello, Mark. I'm so glad you're here. We're getting ready to get into the training. Most people know that this first half hour is acknowledging you. The second half hour are the lessons in honoring our sponsor, our sponsor is Power Thinking Corporation and Mr. Stanley Green. And we have a little surprise for you shortly. How about that? And here we are with Charito, who is calling in. Gosh, it's 10:30 at night in the Philippines. Thank you for being here, Charito. Okay, Cal Poly, that's it. Yes, thank you. Oh, it's 3 hours south. Okay, well, there you go. Shows you, I knew it was somewhere. California's got a big, long coastline. So thank you for that, Sean. Okay, oh, here we go. 20 miles from one entrance to Yosemite and about 3 hours from San Luis Obispo. Excellent. Excellent. Thanks for clarifying that. All right. Ready? Here we go. Now, last week when Sean came in, he explained a little bit about this picture, but now, Sean, tell us about this picture. This is Sean's beautiful wife, and they married in the United States, and about 12 years ago, they left the U.S. for a healthier climate and ended up in Guatemala. So, Sean, tell us.
So the picture with the heart above our heads was a nice little getaway that we took to El Salvador, next door to us, which was an amazing trip. Actually, El Salvador has been listed as safer than most major cities in the U.S. today. And it used to be one of the most violent places in the Americas. And it's beautiful. They have miles and miles of beaches. The government recently built an amazing library. It's like 7 floors. And each floor is made for a different age group of children. It was amazing. You're muted, Leslie.
Where is this again? What country?
El Salvador.
El Salvador. Okay, because you lived in Belize for a short time too, for about a year or so, right? Okay, so this is El Salvador. Okay, got it. I got it.
Yeah, well, we've been here so long, and everybody's like, "Oh, go to El Salvador," and we're like, "Yeah, but it doesn't reset our visa." And then we found if you fly from El Salvador to Guatemala, it resets your visa. So it was like, okay, so we can go to El Salvador.
And who knew?
Who knew? And they use the dollar, and Bitcoin is labeled as official currency as well. So it's attracted a lot of crypto enthusiasts because they could pay their rent or the electric bill or whatever with crypto.
I have no idea how it works. We should do a show on it, although somebody do a show on it, please. And while we're thinking about this, I'm looking for practitioners in EFT, emotional freedom technique, also in heart math. Okay, heart math measures the frequency of your cells in your heart as based on what you're thinking, right? And so
it looks for alignment between your brain, your mind, and your heart, and it can determine it through heart rate variability. So how much your heart, I've actually studied some of the heart math and EFT. So
okay, well, I would love to bring, I mean, if you know somebody that uses this and this is what they routinely use, I would love to have them on. And if I can't find them, then you'll do it. We'll have you do it. Or I'll find somebody. There's got to be people out there. But anyway, thank you for that. Let's say hello. We've got a couple of new people here that I missed, or they came in a little bit late. And this is Dave Snell. Hello, Dave. So good to see you. I met Dave on Donald Cohen's Live, which is every Thursday, 11 a.m. Eastern, the Empower Hour. And that's where I met Dave Snell. So if you don't know Dave, please get to know him. And here is Miss Joni Hargrave, a character, beautiful, and she's a hidden business person. She seems to be all light and fluffy and feminine, but boy, she's got some businesses going that are quite different than the first impression you might get. And did I see Kimberly? Yes, Kimberly Lechnick is here. I'm so glad that you're here. She'll be with us in a few weeks, and she'll be talking about gratitude. So thank you for being here. And here is our Omar M., the Zoom party show host. Get ready. He's got something going on, I think, did I see something for 5 a.m. in the morning? I think I did, like tomorrow morning or Wednesday morning at 5 a.m. I don't know. But watch for the Think and Grow Rich Zoom party, which I'm working on. I'm writing the questions. And so if you want to stick your neck out and do a Jeopardy Zoom party and see how you know Think and Grow Rich, I will tell you it's really easy. Okay, it's really easy. You know all of these things. Just check the table of contents in Think and Grow Rich, the principles and the tagline, and you'll kill it for sure.
Yes. And
go ahead.
Just a note, Omar's Zoom party, I just recorded yesterday with him for, I don't remember, I think it was episode 2 of this season, and it was a lot of fun.
Excellent. Yeah, it is. It
Laughs and all the, bumps along the way.
Okay, so he says it's 12 Eastern today, and I'm telling you, I'm looking at the thing, and it said 5 a.m. So I will go back and double check, because sometimes those things are wild, right? What happens? And so we need to get back into this. And here's Sandra Bolte. She's been here and talked about neurolinguistic programming. It was a joy to have her in for one of the first 2-week sessions. So Sandra, thank you. She's an international best-selling author, and I really appreciate that you were willing to do this so quickly when I needed someone to come in and teach. We have lots of guest teachers. All right. Oh, okay. So look at this. See, this is where he updated it. Okay. So the problem with this is that Sean has a show at noon today. So one of the things that I do, and you can probably end up doing both, but one of the things that I do in my carousel is list what the existing weekly or biweekly shows are, so that when you go to schedule a show, you can look there and do your best to avoid the time duplication. But it happens sometimes, so it's okay. Just want to make you aware of that.
I think the advantage with his show is it's premiering at that time, but you don't have to be there at that time because it's not live, if I'm not mistaken. He can confirm.
Okay, great. Thank you. Okay, now we're going to get into our teaching, because let's see here. All right, here we go. And we're going to stop in just a few minutes because I have a little surprise for you. I'm excited. So, Sean, these were the 4 main areas that you were focusing on, and you are focusing on in Mind Over Matter, the ways of learning to think differently and being open to thinking differently. And these were the 4 subjects we did last week. And so this week, we're going to do, last week we did the emotional capacity versus emotional control, the new emotional intelligence. So tell us a little bit about that to review the emotional capacity versus emotional control, and then we'll get into the next ones, please.
So to review, a lot of us in life, we learned to control our emotions, staying composed, keeping it all in check, and managing reactions. And what we talked about is control is prohibitive. We're not looking to control, we're looking to embrace them, take them as our emotions as signals so that we can expand our capacity to handle them and to make better decisions. Because you were talking about how when we're in what I call the 4F mode, fight, flight, freeze, and fawn, where the brain, as I think Falloon. I remember her last name. I can't remember her first name
Elizabeth.
right now. Elizabeth. Okay,
Elizabeth.
it was.
Mhm.
I think she was the one that mentioned, the amygdala activates. And when the amygdala is activated, reason goes out the window. And I talk to people all the time how, this is test day anxiety, or as you were talking about, standing up in front of an audience and you panic. And you're like, you can't remember anything, even though you spent hours preparing.
So the amygdala is the brain, but is it not the source of the changes in the brain by what you are thinking persistently
Exactly.
and pervasively? Okay.
Yeah.
So, one of my big things is brain and mind are not the same.
Right.
And it's frustrating for me, who spent almost 20 years studying studying mind,
Mind.
where I hear experts in brain that know nothing about the mind. They just collapse it together, right? They even have degrees, and they still don't know how the mind works. So let's be clear that this emotional capacity is your ability to pick and choose what you're going to think, because you're objective
Yes.
and you're responsive.
Yeah. It's on mind side, as you say.
Yeah.
Because we're counteracting the physiological response.
Yes, we're outweighing or counteracting, and the physiological response is not thinking, it's reacting.
Right. It's
So,
instinct. It's
yes, it's just like, you're absolutely correct. Absolutely. Who is speaking in Filipino? Is this Tobago?
that's me and Charito.
I see that.
My little bit of Tagalog.
I love the Philippines. Okay, so that gives you an idea. Now, I don't know what happened to Stanley, because he was supposed to be here, but I hope he'll be back. All right. So now, let us begin this week with the pause principle. And let me just see what time it is. Okay, perfect. Now, this picture, this is from my 2014 bestseller, Champion. Women, guardians of legacy and finances. So this was number one bestseller, in Women in Business in 2014. And I talked about the power of pause. And I just want to show you briefly, Sean, what this is, so that when you talk about the pause principle, it should be pretty easy to you. I'm sure you'll see what's happening, right? There's a gap between knowing and doing, which is called the performance gap. Now, what I've done, and so we know things, but we're afraid. So we very often don't do things we're afraid of. And so I put a big coin in the middle to bridge the gap. Now, without that coin, that big gap is fear, and most people will not step through it. But by putting this gold coin visually in there, you actually step up onto the top of the coin, and you've entered the power of pause. And this is really where you have dragonfly thinking, because dragonflies are prey, Prey, and while they're zeroing around, watching the prey while they're eating. So when you're at the power of pause, you're objective, you're at your highest level of awareness. And not only do you get one way to do the thing that you wanted to do from the knowing, but you now see several possibilities. You choose which one you're going to take, step down, and you're in the doing. Now you've obliterated fear visually, temporarily, and the lip of the coin is wide enough so if you do slip down, which you will, you can pull yourself back up. Okay, turning it over to you, my friend. The pause principle. Talk to us.
And this graphic, when you shared it with me pre-show, I was like, this is perfect, because my perspective is the pause is that bridge between reaction and response. That micro moment that you can step back or as you said, I like the dragonfly perspective. You can rise to a new perspective, see the whole picture, and then respond. Because when we're in that reaction mode, we're not seeing the whole picture. We're usually with blinders.
That's right.
And
our own fears,
said,
our own fears are the blinders.
And then
right?
in the mind, there's all those old thoughts replaying. I was thinking of this when you were talking about talking to different audiences and being afraid. It's usually because we're sitting there replaying some old bad experience.
Yes.
And then, like you said, when we take action, we now have a positive experience. And part of like what I teach is actually using that. Like if you go back, we stick on that negative response, that negative experience, but we can actually reframe and re-empower the times when you did do it successfully, whatever it is, public speaking. And every pause re-educates our nervous system. It teaches your body that you can be safe, right? Because that's what we're activating when we go into that freeze mode. Is it's instinct, danger,
it's your fears. It's the fears. The fears, there are 6 of them. Hi, Leah. So glad you're here. So for those of you who don't know the format here, and I know, Sandra, you said you were worried that you might have missed something. The first half hour, we're typically acknowledging. The second half hour is content. So when you go back to listen, you do not have to listen to the first half hour. But the first half hour with acknowledgement is the most important thing to me. Without that, the show doesn't go. Because if you're not engaged and aligned, then you may not get what you're here to get. So yes, so knowing is what we know to do. If this coin wasn't here, fear would be the dominating thought. That's what's happening. You're reacting. Okay, I do know how to do things, but oh my God, there are things I don't know. So this somehow allows us, the thing is that if we get into action and we can shut down fear temporarily, then we can get up on the edge of the coin. And I also couple this image with the 7 levels of awareness, and effectively you're at the top level here. You're up where the air is rare. You're where you can see all options. There's no reaction. There's really no response. It's simply observation. Right. So I just love that. Anything else?
And this is proven in neuroscience too, as well. When you breathe deep and label what you're feeling, it allows the amygdala to power down, and the prefrontal cortex, the part of our brain, let's be really clear, your brain that gives us reason and higher level abilities. And I would say it's not passive, it's actually a power move.
So because this is sourced from what we're thinking, how frequently we're thinking it, and how we feel when we're thinking of it, again, you keep pointing without me asking to the fact that what we're thinking, mind, is about the only thing we can control. And then the impact on the brain based on what we're thinking and practicing is the end result, or is the next step in the chain. Is that a fair statement?
Yes. And, we're shifting. This pause lets us shift from unconscious or subconscious conditioning,
right,
to conscious control and creation.
Choice.
Like choice, right? We can, and like in some of my training, my mentor called it the drama triangle or the emotional triangle. There's 3 factors that trigger your emotion: your physiology, your body position, what you're doing with your body, the language you're using with yourself, the thoughts, and your beliefs. What do you believe about this situation? As you stated, changing beliefs takes time. It doesn't happen overnight. You don't do it once and the belief is fixed because it took years to build. Thoughts are a little easier to change, or the language we use, but it still takes time. Physiology is the one thing you can change immediately.
So that's from the outside in. So if you're not using, so are you saying that you're not using thoughts to change your physiology? Are you doing something external, such as clearing the vagus?
We're using the physiology to get us in the space that we can now manage thought and
Got it. Okay.
Because it allows, like the pause, the breath allows us to calm back down and get where we can actually manipulate the others.
Yes. Okay, so I don't see our guest, so just hang right there with me. We're going to take a little commercial break here, everybody, patiently. Okay. We'll come back to this. Okay, so I am very fortunate, we all are, that Stanley Green of Power Thinking is a sponsor of this show. And he has been a guest here, and you too can be a sponsor. And I am going to see how to do this where I make this big and us littler. And I don't know if I can do that. I don't think I have to create a new one of those views. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at this. So first of all, Power Thinking now has an app. So Stanley Green has created, from the work of a CBT psychotherapist or psychologist, the CBT, or the cognitive behavioral aspects of changing what you're thinking, okay, or being aware of what you're thinking. Now, we have a call with him every Wednesday morning and every Wednesday night. It's been by phone. Now what he's done, he has developed a wonderful app on the phone, which has everything. Each week he gives us a different video to watch, and then we discuss it. But everything is right here. Once you get into the app, you've got account history, referrals that you might have, any direct deposits from your referrals. Notifications is my favorite, because that's where there are private notes from Stanley, and I'm trying to get him to put that up to the top here. Now, what you want to know is that as a sponsor, he has offered all of us a 30-day free trial with that app. And I invite you to scan this QR code. There will be, I don't have this in front of me, but anyone today from this group that downloads this app to give it a whirl for 30 days, you'll receive a $10 Amazon gift card. Has to be from one of you and today. So I think that was really nice. And then let's go ahead and take a look a little bit at what this app is about. Excellent. So thank you, Stanley Green. He must have been busy. I was going to have him in for just a few minutes, and he was in and out, but he didn't have to be here, but I do want him to know. And everyone, do this for yourself. You'll have fun playing with it, and you might find something that doesn't work. Let him know. Send him a direct message if it does. I found something that didn't work for me, and he fixed it. Okay, I see people are coming in from YouTube and LinkedIn, and let's go back to what we were talking about. And a big shout out to Stanley Green and Power Thinking Corporation. Okay, are we ready to go into impulse into intuition?
Yes, but I have one anchor question for listeners.
Okay.
When you're facing the emotion, simply ask yourself, who's speaking right now? My fear, my ego, or my future?
So your future is your conscious side, and fear and ego is your subconscious side. So
Right.
who's
The old
speaking
condition.
is fear. My fear that I will fail again because, oh Lord, I've done it so many times. That makes it powerfully strong. So is that fair to say too that fear and ego, see, ego is part of your subconscious also.
Right.
And
Ego and fear are trying to pull us back or hold us. They're
yes,
keeping us on the knowing side, the reaction side.
yes,
Future is saying, hey, here's the bridge to come over here.
yeah. And be
I like to
objective.
think of it as your future higher self, the future higher better version of you.
Yes. And I actually am a firm believer after all these years is that the universe is within each of us. Now, we've heard this a million times, right? But most people look up and they think, well, God will. But no, God is within you and he's in the higher side with you. So, how you distinguish the voices, there's the voice of fear, but in your conscious awareness, it's the whisper of intuition from the universe. So that's your higher side voice, is a whisper from God or the universe. Consider. And then your fear and ego has kind of a negative, non thinking, reactive, uncomfortable feeling, but it's the stronger. So you do have faith in God or the universe, however you want to look at it, and it is within us. But yet, it seems for me anyway, if I'm having a particularly reactive day, I don't have it too often. But when that happens, I have to listen for the whisper. At night, when I go to sleep, it seems like the cacophony of fears and, self deprecation and failures, and I could get sick and I'm old and all of that business sleeps. And so now the universe whispers as you sleep and gives you all the answers and all the solutions that you couldn't figure out during the day when all this noise was going on. I don't know. Do they really go to sleep? All I know is that very often, Sean, I will go to bed with a question on my mind that I cannot solve, and the next morning, the answer is there. And it's so easy. And I'm thinking, why didn't I think about that? What do you think about that?
I use that all the time too. If there's a question I want an answer to,
Mm,
in those moments before I drift off to sleep, I'm thinking about that question that I want this answer to. And as you said, while you're sleeping, your unconscious is, or sub,
either way.
all these terms, the the part that's still active is in there trying to find the answer for you.
Yes. And it's there. You're actually communicating with the universe. You can actually hear it clearly
Right.
because we have
Right.
two
Because
voices.
where do thoughts originate from? I saw a really good piece on this. A lot of people think it's, the brain creates it, but it's not. It comes
Yeah,
from,
the
because
ether.
how many times do we have a thought and they're like, wow, that was brilliant. Where did that
All
come from?
all thoughts are already here in the ether and they're flowing from thought energy to form, through form, which we take it through to manifest into physical form. So ideas are thought energy. They're all here. They flow constantly from form through form back into physical form. And it's up to you when you get that idea you're talking about, whether you're going to be in love with it and take it home, or whether, no, not interested in this one. You release it, it goes back into ether, and someone else will think it. Now, Elizabeth asked you to um, ask the question again, and I forgot what the question was. So it's up.
Who is speaking right now?
Okay, got it,
My
got it, got it.
fear, ego, or the future version of me, or
Right.
my future? And
Subconscious.
I put it in the comments as well, so it's
Good.
saved for LinkedIn eternity.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Okay, let's briefly get into impulse intuition because we're running down on time. So we're going to have you back again. I'm not sure exactly when, but are you willing?
I'm willing.
Okay, let's do impulse intuition. Take a couple minutes, and then when we come back again, we'll run through these again, but then we'll do a heavier influence on impulse into intuition and identity and action. So please take it away.
So briefly, impulse is that emotion demanding action. Intuition is the emotion offering direction.
May I offer changing emotion to feeling on the second one?
Feeling.
Because there's a difference in the amplitude of vibration between emotions and feelings. And if it's coming from intuition, that's that whisper, that feeling, that sensing, that knowing. And then on the impulse side, which is the reactive,
Right.
yeah. Is that fair? So could we change? Is it possible to
Yeah,
fairly
that's
change?
acceptable. Yeah, that
Okay, good.
and the trick is, like, going back to the pause, this is why the pause comes first, is if you pause long enough to feel instead of fix, you can turn the chaos of the emotion into guidance.
Absolutely. So you see, everybody, what we're talking about here are the same thing. And for those of you who've been studying with me and heard from other teachers, what we're doing is really creating a matrix of concepts and different ways of approaching them based on the perspective of each teacher. So they're all right. It's which pieces are going to resonate with you. And if you're in confusion, when I ask him, is it fair to say this based on, or if it isn't fair, you would tell me, no, I wouldn't quite do that. So that makes it more clear for you, because until it becomes very clear what you're going to do and what you have been doing, you won't take action. For me, when I'm confused, I don't do anything. But get me clear and I'm out the door. So sometimes we need to hear it from Sean, or we need to hear it next week from Susan. And Susan, I'm so glad you're here so that you can see what is going on in this show as we're on 11, so we've got to continue on. So I am going to, with deep gratitude, I'm going to thank you for being here, my friend Sean. Invite you back again in the next few weeks, because I don't want this to get too far away. And thank you.
And I have one closing statement.
Please go right ahead.
Your fastest access to intuition is through the very thing you've learned to control, that emotion.
Say that again.
Your fastest access to intuition is through the very thing you've learned to control, your emotion.
Got it. Oh gosh. Well, we can't forget this. Sorry. So look, very briefly, okay, Sean is starting an identity reframe intensive, which is 6 weeks, and it starts Tuesday, November 11th. He will stop for Thanksgiving. What would you like them to do? What is it? Comment real in the comments if you are interested in this beta round. He has 10 seats open. It starts Tuesday, November 11th. I highly recommend it. Put real in the comments or reach out to Sean.
Or
Is
yeah,
that
feel
good?
free to DM. Yeah, because
Okay,
I know
thank you.
sometimes that even that, putting a comment like that, it triggers a fear in some.
Okay,
So
fair
reach
enough.
out privately if you need to.
Absolutely. Absolutely. This looks really juicy to me. I mean, I love this. So thank you, Sean. Thank you so much. I'm going to move you
Thank
into
you,
the
Leslie, for
studio.
having me.
Absolutely. And I can't wait for you to come back again. I really can't. All right. So let us move on here. Just to let you know that coming in December, on Thursday, December 4th, from 11 to 2:30, I'm doing my annual intensive where you will communicate with the universe to gather the ideas from the ether of all your goals for next year. It is a transformational process. Many of you have been here. If you've done this workshop, please give me a testimonial about why people should do that right here in the comments. If you're still here, and many may have already left, I would absolutely love to have you. And that completes this piece. And now what we'll do is play the outro with a special thanks to Aaron Gibson, who created the intro and which I call an outro because he knows me so well. He was able to do this without even discussing it. And he did such a beautiful job. So with that, I will play the outro. Come Friday at 10 a.m. Check out all the wonderful lives that are going on. Make sure that you sign up for Power Thinking Corp's app for a month. It's free and very cleverly designed. And reach out to Sean. This is a great opportunity for you to work with a wonderful, well-versed teacher. And with that, my friends, I know I'll be seeing you very shortly, and we'll say goodbye as soon as this completes.